Hmm. I wonder if that would actually work. Oh, hi, hey, and all those other greetings of adventurers. I'm Jakes, welcoming you guys back to my gaming and unboxing channel, where you just caught me finding out a internet life hack. So it said if I take a small hedgehog, some kind of thing with a small hedgehog, and I cover it up, and I shake it and I say bigger, that it will grow bigger. I mean, it just sounds silly, sure, but I mean, hey, when has the internet ever lied? You're right. Never. Never in a million years would the internet have false information. So, that means it must work, right? I mean it's silly not to try it. Well, conveniently I have this tiny little Sonic figure right here. So, I mean, why not? Let's give it a go. Right? He's in my hand and bigger. It worked. Well, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. It's just the internet. Well, I mean, if it worked once, gambler's fallacy, maybe it'll work again. Let's just curl him up as much as possible and bigger. Huh. Okay. Why stop there? Bigger. Oh, this is getting kind of hard to hold in my hands, but all right, back to classic. So you know what's coming. Bigger. Okay, I think this science experiment has gone pretty far, and I think if I try to do this anymore, it might get dangerous. So let's just keep with this and see what's inside of this. Wow. I gotta say, internet, you have done me well, and I appreciate this. I approve of your black magic forkery. Maybe I should post this on Reddit. Yeah, well, we'll do that later. Anyway, though, through the power of internet magic, we ended up getting the Jumbo 20-inch Jakks Pacific Sonic Plush, which is way bigger than I actually expected. Now, this is not actually my biggest plush, despite it being through the power of magic. That would actually go to the modern Sonic, what they considered calling a body pillow, but it's not actually a body pillow. But to be fair, this is classic, and that is modern, so, Fun fact, I believe this is the first time that we have in the Sonic plush line where one of the plush is actually in full 3D. As a comparison, we have our spare classic Sonic plush right here, which the style is cute, but I'm very glad that they decided to do this because it also gives us an idea of what other modern plush will be like, and I believe that some modern plush are listed on ToyWiz. So it's very possible that we're getting some of those pretty soon that would be in 3D. Now, maybe you want a Jumbo plush, but you're like, I have way too many Sonic plush. Well, they do also have a 20-inch jumbo tails, which is pretty cute looking, but unfortunately, the magic only said for hedgehogs. So, maybe one day we'll try for foxes, but I don't know if my shelf space can really handle that. Either way, though, I feel like it's time to finally open up this hedgehog. At the speed of... Ow. It's the first time I've done that it's actually hurt. It's just... Now I know how it feels to get kicked in the earlobe by Sonic. Yeah, that has some density. Yeah, sometimes it does not pay to be stupid. But anyway, though, guys, let's look at the Jumbo 2020 Jakks Pacific Sonic Plush. So, first off, we are going to talk about the fabric that they used. And looking at this guy up close, he kind of looks like a Build-A-Bear. And that's kind of adorable. And I really love it. It has a lot of charm. Because this looks like an actual mascot plush. And it's beautiful. I love it. But yeah, so far the fabric that they used is extremely soft. It's pretty nice. I think it's higher quality than their regular Sonic plush, but they are able to do that most likely since it's a bigger plush, so they can use a higher density type of fabric, and they would probably need to be able to keep in that stuffing. Granted, I am also not a fabric expert, so if you know why, feel free to let me know. Of course, though, his stomach, his arms, and his muzzle are a little bit harder, with his muzzle in this one being a little more shaped, and you can feel the foam or the casing that's inside there, which is pretty good. He has his smile right there, which I think the reason why it looks very mascot-y, amusement park type of a plush is because his smile is actually a more cartoony smush smile. Usually Sonic's smile is fairly wide. It does have that dipped U in it, kind of looking like an Amazon logo, but most cartoons, they have that smushed one, kind of like this. So it looks more like it's in the style of Disney, kind of, which is pretty cool. Going to the eyes, you actually have, instead of it being that rough fabric, it's actually vinyl type, which is an interesting choice to me. I think that it's really cool because you actually get the type of reflection out of the eyes, and you can see these are eyes, so you're going to get the light reflection, and that's just super cool and something I don't see a lot of plush do. Granted, at the same time, it would probably be better if they just did fabric, but it does add a nice little touch considering that this plush isn't even $30, so that's a nice little addition. Going into the black of the eyes, this is also a part of that rubber being a little bit more of a dusty type of material, as they wouldn't want it to reflect, but the white in the pupil actually does have that. Again, as I've said, it would be kind of nice if it was a little bit bigger, but I just have a preference for those being bigger, and Sonic just generally doesn't have those being too big. Going to the ears, though, the ears are extremely well stuffed. Seriously, a lot of these, they go with that thinner, floppier thing, but I guess they realize classic Sonic has that thicker ear, so it makes sense to have that full ear, and it feels extremely well stuffed like the rest of the plush, which is super cool. The inside of the ear has an interesting feeling. As you can tell, it is an overlapped fabric, but it still really looks amazing, and honestly, I think it would probably look better than if they tried to cup the ear in and then put the fabric in there, because, then you'd see the overlaying more, whereas from behind you can see it, but in front, you really can't, so it's not too big of an issue. Going to the back spikes, I feel like these look kind of weird, at least for the bottom three. The top three actually look pretty good. They're at a decent length, especially this top one. This top one is an amazing length, and it's like the right length to just be able to like give a nice little pet to Classic Sonic and tell him, "You did a great job, Giant Sonic. You ran through the stage. You made Eggman wish he had some car insurance. And you saved the day in one foul swoop. Just maybe don't spin dash, because you'd be a legitimate wrecking ball. Just saying." Back to the plush. The mid-tier spikes, they're alright. You know, they're pretty much close enough to what the length is for the top one that it's not too big of a problem. But I think the reason why the back ones look weird to me is because it's not a gentle curve down. And I don't know why they did this. Why did you end up having it go like this and then have it be like it's melting? Like somebody just grabbed his hedge and snapped the bone in it. Like it looks like there's supposed to be a bone here instead of it being like an actual hedge. And that's weird. I don't know if this was a mistake with the fabric, if this was a choice to balance out weight. I'm really not sure, considering that it wouldn't clash at all with any of the stuff in the back. But, I guess it's not that big of a problem since you wouldn't mainly see it. But it just looks weird to me. From a certain angle, the middle spike looks pretty decent. And I guess if you're looking at it from the back, it looks pretty cool. So I guess just don't look at it from the side. Pretty much this is just an angle that you wouldn't look at it from. Either way though, as we're speaking about the back, let's look at the back spikes, which, I mean, sure, it's Classic Sonic, and in a lot of animation, usually for Super Sonic, the back spikes are pretty far apart. But in this, I mean, you're not even gonna see it from here, so I don't know why they spread it so far apart. I don't know if they figured there was enough backspace, if this just was an oversight, but these are also not well stuffed. It's very strange considering the rest of the plush is super well stuffed, so having the back spikes be so far apart and then not being well stuffed seems like an extremely bizarre decision to me. They could have probably also maybe made it a little longer or a little more curved, so that's weird. His tail is also kind of another weird story, as I feel like length for that is probably fine because his tail in the game is pretty short for Classic Sonic. However, it's flat, which is extremely weird considering this is a 20-inch plush. So you'd think there would at least be a little bit of depth and a little bit of oomph to it, but there isn't. So that I do find weird. And I don't know, maybe he didn't skip arm or leg day, but he skipped tail day. And maybe, you know, they have to do like tail wags. Keep your tails buff. You know? I mean, that's why Tails' tails are so big. Because he literally has to fly everywhere. So he's doing tail exercises. There you go. That's my headcanon. Going back to the front of plush, we have the gloves, which have some interesting things to them. First off, they have a shine to them, as I guess Sonic has just decided to go into that amazing shimmering glove life. I really don't know why they did this instead of making it plastic, or not plastic, but like fabric. But it may be some reason that we're about to get into. Another thing is that there's some stitching or stuffing that is coming out of his thumb. Not fun. That seems like a surgical problem. You might want to go to the hospital. But yeah, that kind of sucks. But the only reason I can think of maybe it's like this is because for some reason they decided that this plush needed Velcro. So I guess if you actually wanted to, you know, handcuff Sonic and have him going into the gun helicopter, or if you want him to look like a meme that's like, boy, or if you just want to have him be like, more please, I want more food, give me more food. If you don't give me more food, I swear to you, I will spin dash your home. Giant Sonic can be kind of violent sometimes. But yeah, I really don't understand why they made this decision. Now, if the hand had like a voice thing where you pressed it and it just set out a voice clip, I could totally understand them doing that for something like this. It would make sense. Or in the center when you hug it. That I could get. The Velcro thing, there's not much you can do with this, considering that you can only really have it be like this. Or if you have another thing of Velcro, you can have him like hanging from a window. I'm just thinking about it. I totally want to just drive by a house and see somebody who has a little Velcro thing on the top of the window, and they just have Sonic hanging like this, with his hand on the top of the windowsill, just soullessly staring out the window, like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm just hanging, you know? I totally want to see that now, because that just sounds amazing. I mean, I doubt I will ever see that, but there's got to be one in like 7 million people who has also thought about that and actually has decided to do it. And if you are one of those people, please send me a photo because I need to see this. It will be glorious, I promise you. But yeah, like, other than that, you can't do much with the Velcro. So I don't understand why they have that there, and if it wasn't there, definitely would be a great snuggle buddy because this guy is extremely soft. Now, of course, we do have one last thing to look at, and that would be his shoes. So first off, his socks are a rougher material along with the strap, probably so that they stay there. But honestly, I kind of wish they just used this material for the gloves because then it would make the gloves look better instead of having the hand in-betweens be these extremely awkward dotted lines that just don't really look well. Like, they don't look great, and then it wouldn't be so low poly, actually. It's weird. It's like a low poly model, but just for his hands. So I really wish they just used the sock and the strap fabric. You also have, weirdly enough, a soft part on here. You would figure, well, I mean, I guess they technically also did this for the original, but they have the buckle be a thin yellow strip, or, yeah, a thin yellow fabric that is actually fairly soft. Now, that being said, though, this would be extremely fragile and something that could very easily just get cut off or ripped. So if you have one of these, be extremely careful because this button that is damaging. The rest of the shoe has the same material, except it feels smoother, probably because it's a larger area, as the glove. But it also looks better because the shoe is something that should be shiny. It should look cool, and honestly, it gives off a really nice aesthetic, just like the eyes, to where you see shine in it. And you see way more shine in this than you do the eyes, so it stands out a lot more, especially since it's red. You also do have the soles of the shoe being a darker red, as Classic Sonic is known for. So all in all, I think this is a pretty cool plush. Honestly, it's not necessarily the best plush. There's certain things that I feel like they could have done better. But in terms of a jumbo plush, I 100% would recommend this. Not to break the fourth wall of jokes, but I did actually want to compare this with the Jazzwares Giant Classic Sonic to give a size comparison of how big this thing actually is. It is wild, because this is the largest Classic Sonic plush that I had. So, looking at this, just giving a quick overview of this, you have a few differences, as this one has a smaller nose, which I didn't mention, but the nose looks pretty plump and pretty great. Again, they could have probably made it a little bit longer, but it's not the biggest deal. But for this one, colors are a little more muted. The spikes are a little more curved. So, yeah, something that I really didn't notice for that. His stomach is a little more plumper with the circle being a little too big. And I'm noticing more imperfections about this one as I'm looking at this one, because this one's actually fairly perfect except for the few things. And that's more subjective, to be honest. You also have his hands, which are actually fabricked in a pointing pose and a thumbs up pose. But one of the other big comparisons is what I was saying about the back spikes and what I was saying about the tail. See how much bigger the tail is for the Jazzwares Classic Sonic than it is the Jakks Pacific Classic Sonic, as well as the hedge. Now, the back spikes, yes, they could have been far apart, but I just don't understand why they made it that far apart, you know? And then the shoes themselves, the buckle looks a little bit rougher as it's a little more blocky. And then the shoe also doesn't look as smooth because it has a little bit of a lump. And honestly, this is a plush that I didn't play around a lot with, but I do really enjoy this plush despite it having a few more flaws. But this also has more of a Sonic feeling just in the sheer form of game-wise, whereas this feels more like the art box type of thing. So it really comes down to taste, and I mainly just wanted to show for size how much bigger this thing seriously is. Like, look at this. It's freaking ridiculous. I'm just going to put them really close up because that is a super great attention-grabbing thumbnail for everybody. You know, and we have that comparison. So let me know, out of these two plush, which one do you actually prefer more? Do you prefer the Jazzwares plush or the Jakks Pacific plush? I don't generally try to compare these two companies, but the thing is, a lot of the great Sonic merchandise comes from these two companies. So it's very easy to compare and see what differences they have done, you know, Jazzwares in the past and Jakks Pacific in the future, and just being interesting to see, like, these are the things that they did or didn't do. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, which one's better. But yeah, I think that it's insane that this thing is this big. Like, I read it as 20-inch, but I don't think it clicked. And thankfully, I did realize a place to put it on the shelf, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys feel like I've missed anything or I've gotten any information incorrect, please let me know down below. But, you know, I didn't really say too much information in this one. But yeah, I think that he's pretty cool and he's pretty soft. And if he didn't have the Velcro, again, he'd be a good cuddle buddy. But yeah, make sure to hit that like button, share this out with everybody known love. Brother, mother, sister, father, iguana. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Alright, guys. Let's go. Don't ask me why I just made a wah sound, but I did. It exists. You heard it in your ears. And, I mean, it can't be weirder than the chow sound effect I made in the last unboxing that I recorded. So, you know, there's that. Also, I realized I'm just slowly making him squat lower and lower onto the screen, which is beautiful. Alright, guys. Bye.